Hi, welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I am going to show you the fastest way to make pizza crust in your house that is so delicious you'll never go out and buy it again. I was talking to a friend recently who said that she was going out to buy pizza dough at the bakery section of the supermarket. And I've tried that dough just to see what it was like, and I found it to be like a rubber band. It's so high in gluten that you really can't work with it. I also didn't really like the taste. There wasn't much to it. So you can do better in your home. And I asked her if she had a food processor, so now I'm going to show her and you how you make pizza dough in your processor in under a minute. So first, a couple of tips. One is that most bowls are about 9 cups. This one's bigger, it doesn't matter. But you want something that will take 3 cups of flour. And if you think about it, now we're doing a pizza crust. 3 cups of flour also translates into many breads. Here we go. Most bowls don't have this stopper stem in them like this one does. They have a hole in here. The bowl stem comes up and then there's a hole. Because of that, what you have to do is start by putting your dry ingredients in the bowl first and then adding your wet ingredients. If you do it the other way around, what happens is that wet, before it starts mixing, that very wet glop goes into the hole here and then into the hole in your bowl, and it will muck up the mechanisms in your machine and it dies like that. Ask me how I know. It was a very expensive mistake. And I knew I was doing it backwards, but I thought, oh, it's fine, it'll be fine. No, it was not fine. That was a couple of $100s. So let's talk about the blades. If you don't have one of these, which is a dough hook is what it's called, they can be metal. This one's plastic, but they're dull. You really can't cut yourself on that unless you really try. And they're cut off right there. The other blade is sometimes called an S blade or a knife. And we've all seen these. They're very sharp. Be very careful of that edge. That's the worst cut you can get in your kitchen, I think. So I'm going with the dough hook. Either one is fine. Just use what you have. This is 3 1/3 cups of flour, and you want to take your flour, spoon it, fluff it up, fluff, spoon it into your measuring cup, and then sweep off the excess or weigh it out. This is an all-purpose flour because I like a tender crumb for my pizza. If you like pizza where you chew the crust, then you're going to want bread flour. But this is what I grew up with. This is how I've always made it. This is what I'm happy with. So, dry ingredients first. To that, I'm going to add, this is 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. Instant yeast can go right into your dry ingredients. It makes it so easy. 2 1/4 teaspoons equals one of those little packets or sachets, if you call it that. This is 1 1/2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And I'm just going to give this a little whirl around just to mix the ingredients. This is 1 1/4 cups or 275 milliliters of room temp water. If you want this to rise very quickly, you go with warm water. And by warm, I mean about 115 degrees. You don't need a thermometer. Just take a few drops, put it on your wrist and test it like you would a baby bottle. That's fine. So 1 1/4 cups goes in. I'm going to start out with about a cup that went in there, and we'll get this whirling around. And as that's working, I'll just pour the rest in. And what happens here is this comes together. First you see it looking kind of shaggy, which is perfect, and then it will form a ball. And as soon as it forms a ball, you start counting to 30. 30 seconds is the kneading process, and you're done. That's perfect. It's sticky, it's tacky, but it's not sticking to my fingers. That's exactly what you want. What I like to do is I'm going to take this out of here and just knead it on the counter. I'm not adding any additional flour to this because when I felt it in here, it's perfect. Dump out what's inside of that. That's all the flour that I need for this. It's very nice. So what you want is just to take all these little straggly pieces and just make them cohesive. But one thing I want to point out is the strength of the dough. As you can see, this gluten has developed already in a very short time. The processor truly is a great little invention. So I'm just going to knead it, give it a couple of pushes around the table here. I can feel it's really perfect. It's elastic, it's smooth, it's perfectly kneaded. It needs nothing else. I don't need any more flour to add to it. It's amazing. So at this point, you have options. You can put this in a bowl that's oiled, put a lid on it, cover it tightly, and let that raise for about an hour. You degas it, you press it down, put it into the pan that you want to use. You can go from there, let it rise one more time, put your sauce on, your toppings, and start baking right away. By the way, this makes 6 servings. The other thing you can do is get a Ziploc baggie. Pour a little olive oil in it. That's about a tablespoon of olive oil. Put your dough in the baggie. Make sure it's covered in oil. Doesn't have to be swimming in it, but you do want it to be covered in oil. Press all of the air out of your baggie as much as you can. And this can go either into your refrigerator and let it do a slow rise, which you can leave up to overnight. I've made pizza dough while I'm cleaning up the kitchen from dinner. You make it in here, you put it in here, you throw it in the refrigerator. Then tomorrow night when you come home from work, take it out, let it come to room temp, that's about a half hour or so, and proceed making your pizza. The other thing you can do is do this, make sure everything's nice and tight in here, no air. Put this in your freezer, and you can keep it for about a month that way. Now, because this is a flatbread, I have done that. If it were a bread that I wanted to rise beautifully, I would not try freezing it, because yeast is a permeable cell. That cell structure can be damaged by freezing. So what you want to do is put this in the freezer. When you're ready to use it, take it out in the morning. Just leave it out on your counter, just like that. When you come home from work, it will be slightly puffy, risen, and that's all you need. It's a flatbread. You don't need it to be a beautiful high-rise bread, right? So from there, put it in your pan, put your toppings on, bake your pizza. This is so easy. You never have to buy pizza dough again. And by the time you do all of this and clean up your kitchen from making this little mess, you will have spent more time getting to your supermarket and coming home than you would having made your own beautiful, delicious pizza dough. I hope this has helped you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you around. Bye, guys.